The purpose of this exercise is not to get you to go out and borrow 48% interest. It's a great exercise to show you how the interest rate, no matter how high, is just another variable you have to factor into your offers.
You're listening to 5 Hour Real Estate Week, where you'll learn to consistently buy real estate in only 5 hours a week. So if you're ready to invest in real estate, achieve financial freedom, and own the lifestyle you deserve, even with your job, this is the show for you. Now, here's your host, Mike Butler.
Okay, welcome aboard. Mike Butler here. And this one is going to be a fun situation. Hopefully, it's going to be an eye-opener. And my job is to take the blinders off. So if you've ever been to a horse race, like in my hometown here, Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs, they put blinders on horses so they can't see anything beside them. Well, a lot of investors get started investing and they have blinders on and they can't take the blinders off. They don't allow themselves to take the blinders off to see if they can do a deal or not. And so my job is I'm going to take a big 2x4, we're going to warp you right upside the head, and we're going to tear them blinders off. And this is a great little exercise to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And so the title of this one is, Will You Do This Deal? Okay? Now, it's going to help if you got a pencil or piece of paper handy or scratch pad somewhere, because we're going to take a little bit of notes here, but if you might be able to listen to it and put all the numbers together, but it helps if you can draw it out a little bit. So here's their deal opportunity. 3 months ago, a motivated seller named Ralph contacted you about buying his house at 123 Mayberry Lane, okay? It's owner-occupied, very well maintained, no repairs are needed, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, brick ranch, in a great, mostly owner-occupied neighborhood in the South End, okay? And so these homes sell pretty darn quick for $125,000. And it's a 1-story home, okay? So Ralph was in a pickle. He was in financial distress with foreclosure looming around the corner. And you could not work out a deal with Ralph at that time on your first visit with him several months ago. You hung on to your mini pitch card there. And next thing you know, on a Wednesday, about 3 months later, okay, Ralph, that motivated seller, he calls you up and he wants you to buy his house. He said you were the only person who treated him like a human being. He tells you his house is going to be sold at the courthouse auction on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Here it is Wednesday afternoon. Ralph says he owes the bank $40,000, and he'd rather see you get it for $40,000 than to have the bank get it back for $40,000. But here's the deal. You got to close on this tomorrow and pay off the bank's $40,000 balance to buy Ralph's house, okay, along with dismissing the court auction, okay? You got to get all that done tomorrow. So, because it's going to be sold 10 a.m. on Friday. So here's your pickle. You have no cash, okay? I don't want you to let your mind wander anywhere. This is a little exercise, so stick with me on this, okay? Stay focused with me right now. Do not let your brain wander around, and let's pretend you have no cash, no bank, no credit union, no family members, or a friend who will loan you the money. Your only resource to fast cash to do this deal tomorrow is Uncle Guido, your local friendly loan shark, okay? So you call up Uncle Guido to borrow $40,000 to do this deal tomorrow, and Uncle Guido says, no problem. I'll gladly loan you $40,000. You can close tomorrow at 48% interest. Boom! 48% interest. Now, this is an exercise. So I want you to be honest with yourself. What is your first mental knee-jerk reaction when I told you 48% interest? Be honest with yourself. I want you to screw up here, because if you screw up out there on the streets, man, the School of Hard Knocks is a lot more expensive. So odds are you were probably like me, and we were raised in an environment where you were told credit cards get you in trouble, and always, always, always try to get the lowest interest rate when you borrow money. Well, yeah, that's true, okay? So when I do this exercise in a classroom environment with folks sit in the seats in the classroom, almost half of the investors in the class raise their hand and they say they would not do this deal due to the 48% interest rate. It's okay if you feel that way, because I did too. Then about a third of the room said they would do the deal, okay? And then very few more, maybe 20% of the room, a few more never raised their hand at all. They didn't know which way to go, okay? But a third of the room said they would do the deal. Now, why did they do that? Check this out. In this exercise, I used 48% interest for two reasons. Number one, it's an outrageous interest rate. And second, it's a very good number for me to not screw up this training exercise, okay? That's why I choose 48%. It is outrageous. So let's run the numbers, okay? So you borrow $40,000 at 48% interest, okay? Well, if you take 48% interest, you divide it by 12 months, that equals how much? 4. So it's 4% per month, correct? Yeah. So what's 4% of 40,000? Isn't that $1,600? It is, isn't it? $1,600 because 1% of 40,000 is 400. Therefore, the simple end result is this. Hold on to your hat. Would you pay $41,600 for a $125,000 house and own it for 30 days? 1 month of interest is $1,600. And this is cheaper than a roof, a furnace, kitchen cabinets, a paint job. Okay? All you have to do is to factor that 1 month of interest into your offer. Now, does it make a little more sense? Yeah, 48% interest, still outrageous. But what is 1 month's interest at 48% interest on $40,000? $1,600. So instead of paying $40,000 for the house, it's going to cost you $41,600 to own it for 30 days. Yeah, you're going to have your closing cost, okay? But doesn't that just blow your mind versus what your mental knee-jerk reaction was? Now, I'm not encouraging you to go out and borrow money at 48% interest, okay? My point is this. This is still a killer deal. If your only resource to cash, you had to pay 48% interest, okay? So let's expand on it, just chew on it a little bit more. So when you can wrap your head around the big picture here, you're going to have an open mind to all kinds of additional creative financing. Imagine what you can do with this house if you bought it for $41,600. Number one, could you sell it in a few days to another investor? Let's say for $61,600. That'd be a $20,000 profit. That investor would be super happy too, wouldn't it? Remember, pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. Okay, number two, if it's in a good rental neighborhood and that's an area you like to invest in, could you refinance it and get a super low fixed rate loan, especially in today's market, and make it a great rental? Absolutely. Okay, yes, you could do that. The purpose of this exercise is not to get you to go out and borrow 48% interest. It's a great exercise to show you how the interest rate, no matter how high, is just another variable you have to factor into your offers. Okay, so now somebody's saying, but Mike, what if my refi takes 2 months? Okay, so it costs you 2 months worth of interest. $1,600 times 2 is $3,200. So would you pay $43,200 for a $125,000 house? I would all day long. Okay, I still struggle today with these mental knee-jerk reactions on how we were brainwashed growing up. And our parents, they're trying to do right, okay? But, you know, parents and grandparents, a lot of them grew up in the Depression. And you've heard this thing, oh, never borrow money, pay cash as you go, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we've heard that stuff. So slow down. Slow down. Slow down your brain. And to remember to always run your numbers first before you make your offer. So I want to hear some feedback from you on this powerful training exercise, and I hope I tore the blinders off of your brain to expand that, to at least have an open mind about unique creative opportunities that come across your desk or fall in your lap. Okay? So adios. See you on the next one.
Glad you joined us for another episode of 5-Hour Real Estate Week. The best thing you can do now is put this information to action. To help you get started, Mike created a free resource for you called How to Buy 50 Houses a Year, Even with Your Job. Download it now by going to mikebutler.com/50 houses. And we'll see you on the next episode.